In this video, we're going to be building the best Creator PC, but all AMD. So the best AMD CPU, the best AMD GPU, the best motherboard for that platform, and much more. Let's go. CCL is the one-stop shop for all your Creator PC needs. Whether you're looking for PC parts to upgrade, full systems, laptops, monitors, peripherals, you name it, CCL's got it. With their competitive pricing and great reviews, it's a no-brainer. Use the code TN10 to get a special discount when spending over £250. So for your next purchase, consider checking out CCL in the video description below. So, here's the all AMD PC, straight out of the oven, nice and warm still. So, what are some of the parts that I was using? So for the CPU, we were using the AMD Ryzen 7950X 16-core CPU, right now the best one that's out there. AMD has just announced the 7950X 3D CPU as well, but that's not out currently at this point on when I'm making this video on 9th of January, so it still holds the throne. By the way, if you want to check out or buy any of the parts, I'm going to leave them linked in the description below if you want to get some more details or just want to buy any of them, check them out in the description below. For the motherboard, we were using Asus ProArt X670E motherboard, so the best Creator motherboard you can get for the AM5 socket. For RAM, we were using 64GB of Kingston Fury Beast RGB memory, and it's running at 5200 mega transfers per second. Now you could go to 128GB as well, but then we're gonna have to drop the XMP because the memory controller can't keep up with it, so I think 64GB is gonna be the sweet spot. For the cooler, we were using Deepcool LT720 AIO, which you can see the design of this is really cool. This kind of squarish block and then kind of a RGB coming out from the inside. But to actually boost this extra a little bit more, we'll see how good of a cooler performance this is gonna go, but we replaced the 3 AIO coolers with Phanteks T30 fans, and I installed them on top just so that we hide a little bit of the gray design, because those fans are gray, but now right now when you look inside the case, you don't actually see those fans as much, and they're a little bit hidden inside the top chassis of the PC case. So we've added those. There's no RGB fans. We've got 3 Phanteks M2540mm fans, 1 exhaust in the back and 2 intakes from the front, and that's plenty of airflow. For the OS SSD, we were using Cardia Z440 Gen 4 NVMe SSD, which I think is one of the best bang for buck performance SSDs that you can get. And for GPU, we're obviously using the best that AMD can offer, which is the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX. And I've got the Power Color limited edition Red Devil model, which is probably the best 7900 XTX GPU you can buy. The most overclocked, the best performance, whatever. Now, the interesting thing about this PSU is that it can actually support 2 systems. So for example, if you want to build a system where you've got 2 motherboards inside the same PC case, then you can do that with that Phanteks Revolt X 1200 watt PSU. I did add a custom cables as well that I got from Amazon. So these are just from Easy DIY or whatever they were called. I'll leave the link in the description below, but I think they add a little bit more to the PC build, and I replaced the middle PCIe 8-pin cable with a black version. So we've got a little bit of red, black on the sides, and then a black and a little bit of a messy kind of just, it looks like the guts of the PC just coming out there. But I didn't change the EPS or the CPU power plugs on the top there, just because I didn't want to draw attention to that corner. They're just the normal included PSU cables that come with the PSU. So if you want the best AMD system possible, I think that's it. So the thing that we have to test now is how good is the actual cooling of this? How good is the Deepcool LS720 AIO? So what we're going to be doing now is opening Cinebench R23, okay? I don't have PBO enabled, so this is just stock. Whatever the motherboard's going to push to the CPU, we're going to do that. And we're going to see how much thermal room there is and if there is any. 10 minutes, 7950X, go. Let's have a look what happens with the CPU here. We're pulling 230 watts, 89 degrees, 90 degrees. This is still not completed the first run. And we run 90 something degrees. So all cores are running about 5.1 gigahertz. And then in the beginning of the run, some of them run 5.4, 5.5, and then they kind of average out about 5.1. So about 5.1, 16 cores all going absolutely full on. We're about 4.5 minutes in, still about 230 watts we're pulling from the socket. The max we've reached is 92.3 degrees. I'm touching the tubes and the tubes are like cooled down. They're not like hot at all. And we're not even pushing that, you know, warm air out from the top. So basically what I'm trying to say is this Ryzen chip just runs that hot. And it's not because, you know, the CPU cooler can't keep the temperature down, because look, we're not thermal throttling at all. And that 230 watts is just what it's gonna do. The CPU and the motherboard, they try to run the CPU as close to the TJ Max as possible, which is gonna be 95 degrees. It just pushes all the performance out from the CPU and not gonna leave any performance on the table. So all the clock speeds are gonna be there, but the cooler is actually keeping up very, very well. But I wanna know is what's the actual performance we're gonna get with single multi-core tests. Boom, almost 38,000 points, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, put it into perspective. So look, we're 26% faster than the Threadripper 2990WX with 32 cores. That's absolutely ridiculous performance. Now, just to talk about performance a little bit more, I've actually done a few tests, or Puget benchmark tests, so you can, you know, check it out yourself, how good the CPU is and how good this kind of combination is. So when we're looking at the Photoshop score here, this is 1694. Now, there aren't that many Photoshop scores that are higher than this. There are some like kind of fake ones where some random C&E processors from ages ago can score quite high, but I think these are glitches. To actual legit scores, there's not much that can go higher than that. That is actually higher than Intel 13900K with an RTX 3090 combo. And that just shows how good the 7900 XTX AMD GPU is. And as far as my testing goes, this 7900 XTX is the fastest GPU for Photoshop, but it's kind of a random flex to actually give for Photoshop, as you can see over here. So you can compare it to your system, what you would get, something like that. In terms of Premiere Pro, we're getting quite good scores as well. Standard overall 1446, and look at that, that's pretty good here. Now if you're looking at a random system there, and this is actually a slightly older Premiere Pro, so maybe it's going to go even better now, but if you're looking at the score of 13900K with RTX 4080 here with UHD 770 as well, so they've got iGPU1, and their RAM is actually running 4800 mega transfers. Ours says 4800 as well, so actually it doesn't read the XMP there. But if we're looking at or comparing these performances, then you can see that for Premiere Pro, this is not kind of the best option of CPU GPU combo, because the 4080, as you can see, is better on GPU score, FX score, the standard live playback is much better, standard export score is better, but only tiny little bit. Extended live playback score is better, extended export score is better. So everything is kind of better in Premiere Pro when we compare that one. But still the best you can get with AMD, because some people just want all AMD, so there we go. Now another thing I have found is this. Look, I've installed After Effects and look what happens here now. Error, crash in progress, lag noise message was this, that, can't figure out, bam, boom. So basically somehow the GPU CPU combo on After Effects is just not letting the After Effects run. Now I do know that this actually works because this is the same system or the same motherboard I have used and the same CPU I've used with a 3090. And when I'm running that one with a different SD and like different operating system, basically with a fresh clean install with the right drivers, it does work with NVIDIA graphics cards, but AMD just still isn't kind of as stable as like Intel and NVIDIA. I'm sorry, but that's the deal. I wish it was, and I really want AMD to be beating Intel and AMD in everything. But right now, I think they're just focusing more on gaming and getting like the performance in there, so that's what you're gonna get. But when we're talking about DaVinci Resolve, at first when you look at the score, 2225 and 2363, that's really high score, right? Then on the right side here, we can see a system with 13900K and RTX 4080, UHD 770 graphics, and pretty much the same memory, as you can see. So what can we see here? The GPU effects score is slightly better. 8K media score is a little bit better on the AMD system. The 4K media score is much better on the Intel system here, as you can see. Extended and standard overall scores are absolutely ridiculously better, and the Fusion score is just so much better as well. If we are looking at like the best score on DaVinci Resolve with the 7900 XTX, then they don't go that much higher. Someone's got 2600 standard overall score. Ours is 2300. Here with Threadripper getting standard overall a little bit better. Look, someone's got even higher score with a 13700K here with 2390. I mean, it's good score and you'll get very good performance with this, but if you look at the competition, then it kind of starts to become less significant. And here's the point here. I think as a creator, this system will look nice, will do very good in gaming. It's going to be amazing in certain applications, but as a creator, you're better off going with Intel and NVIDIA. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you go with this one or Intel system? I don't know. I'd love to know what's your thoughts on this. What do you think about the build aesthetics? It looks pretty cool and kind of fits on my background there with the red light in there as well. This is quite a new case from Phanteks, by the way, the Phanteks Eclipse G500A, where you've got a little bit of different, like there's a mesh in the front, mesh from the top. You can buy this without any fans. So let's say you do have your choice of fans you want to go with. You don't actually have to pay for the extra fans. You just buy the case without any fans, and then that's that. I quite like the case. I really like this type of you know, Knight Rider style there, this LED strip there as well. I think it's really, really nice. But if it was up to me, I'd go with Intel and NVIDIA just to get the best performance. If you do want to build yourself the best bang for buck Creator PC, then check out the build guide in the description below, because you'll find the PC build there that fits your budget. You can configure it and get the best PC build for you, so you're not gonna find or fall into the same mistake that I did here, or kind of on purpose, getting a system that's not the best performance for your money. I'll explain everything in those video guides in the description below. Check them out over there. Thanks guys for watching, likes and subscribes, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.